Have you ever gazed at the skies during the magical times of dusk and dawn just to witness a spectacular celestial sight? A radiant streak passing through the sky almost every day, resembling a comet or a shooting star. For those who haven't figured it out yet, that's the International Space Station. For an impressive 24 years, the ISS has been the only home in space for our fearless astronauts. Yet as the saying goes, all good things must come to an end. And the ISS is no exception. As the days are dwindling, the stress on the ISS's primary structure is increasing. Last year, NASA declared that the ISS would plunge into the Pacific Ocean once its operations end in the year 2030. So we are left with less than a decade to bid a final goodbye to our long-term space station. Now the big question that mounts over us is, after ISS, will there be another space station that continues the legacy in the low Earth orbit? Welcome back to the SpaceTech Gazette. Today we are going to explore the world's first commercial space station, the Axiom Space Station. Fasten your seatbelts and prepare for this space voyage named Axiom Space. Axiom Space is an American space infrastructure developer that is privately funded by Saudi and Korean investors and is headquartered in Houston, Texas. This private space venture was born out of the consistent efforts of two extraordinary individuals, Michael T. Suffredini, the former program manager for the International Space Station from 2005 to 2015, and Kam Ghaffarian, the brilliant engineer and entrepreneur who managed the second-largest engineering services contract of NASA. After retiring from NASA, Suffredini and Kam Ghaffarian decided to build the future of commercial spaceflight and started Axiom Space. These visionary founders have set their sights on the stars quite literally. Now let's talk about what is so special about Axiom Space. NASA has selected Axiom Space for conducting private missions to space and has recently signed an order for the fourth private astronaut mission to the International Space Station. This mission is scheduled after August 2024 from the Kennedy Space Center. How did this happen? And why did NASA choose Axiom? Well, we will come to that in a jiffy. Back in March 2020, Axiom Space sent shockwaves around the globe by announcing a contract with SpaceX. What was their mission? To fly commercial astronauts to the ISS via the mighty rocket, Falcon 9 and the automated spacecraft, Crew Dragon. In the year 2022, the spacecraft created a milestone by etching its name forever in the pages of space history. Axiom Mission-1 changed the course of space exploration with the first all-private astronaut mission to the ISS. This spacecraft took flight on the 8th of April 2022, and the launch was celebrated worldwide. It docked with the ISS carrying a multinational crew of 4, and the first commercial astronauts were sent into orbit. The purpose of this 8-day mission was to make breakthroughs in microgravity research for the government, as well as private individuals around the world. The mission included more than 25 science and research investigations aboard the ISS. This is why the launch of the 8th of April 2022 wasn't just any launch. Being the first private astronaut mission to the ISS, it was one of the most glorious and historic events in the history of space engineering. Whoa, becoming a private astronaut and then making it to the ISS. What an adventure that might have been, right? But that wasn't all. There was a lot more to the adventure of Axiom Mission-1. At the time of the return journey, nature decided to come to its own. The weather at the landing zone became fierce, and the return journey of the crew members was delayed. It was after 16 days when the spacecraft undocked with the ISS to return to Earth via a splashdown in the Atlantic Ocean. So the crew spent a total of 17 days in orbit. That would have been an experience of a lifetime for those private astronauts. I bet now you know why Axiom Mission-1 was special and remarkable like none other. Now coming back to what we left midway, how did Axiom make it to the top? In a pool of numerous aerospace startups who are trying their luck in space, how did Axiom turn out to be so lucky? What made them win a golden ticket from NASA? Well, it's the team that made all the difference. The company was handpicked by NASA because of the extraordinary team Axiom has. With former NASA Administrator Charles Bolden and astronauts Michael Lopez-Alegria and Brent W. Jett Jr. on their side, the Axiom team is a bunch of curious minds who come from NASA. Axiom Space is the only company with the unique privilege to attach its modules to the International Space Station. With a specialization in microgravity, on-orbit operations, astronaut training, space medicine, space system design, and engineering, the Axiom employees can work with diverse international teams and conduct space research in microgravity environments. So yes, Axiom does boast an incredible team. This team has been involved with every ISS mission since the program's inception. These cosmic minds are making the possibilities of low Earth orbit accessible to visionary governments, researchers, manufacturers, and individuals. So what's next on the Axiom Space horizon? It's the best of all, the Axiom Space Station. After the successful flight of the first commercial astronauts, the Axiom team is all set to craft the world's first commercial space station. Let's get it straight. Axiom wants to improve life on Earth. And understanding the possibilities of low Earth orbits is the beginning of a new age of deep space human spaceflights, in-space research, in-space manufacturing, and long-term space exploration. So there we are. The Habitation Module 1 for the space station is all set to be launched in 2025. But just so you know, it's not just about adding another module to the ISS. Axiom's real goal is to create a free-flying, independent, and commercially run space station, which would be our next low Earth orbit destination. The company is building this colossal project by joining hands with Lopez-Alegria Space to create the primary structures. So the process for building the commercial space station goes like this. After the first station component is attached to the forward port of the ISS module, Axiom will add a second module in 2027 and then a third one in 2028. Finally, a thermal power module will be connected in the end, which is scheduled for around 2030. This complex structure of modules will allow the cosmic voyage of Axiom Space Station to detach from the ISS completely and then fly independently. To make this vision a reality, the construction of this groundbreaking space station is already going on in full swing. Now that just adds to the already increasing anticipation of the Axiom Space Station, isn't it? What do you think it would be like inside the Axiom Space Station? The view inside the space station is just how the visionary creator Philippe Starck envisioned it. Starck desired multi-directional freedom as the theme for the space station. The Axiom crew accommodations were therefore designed to resemble nest-like accommodations in egg-like structures. He also created a design that provided a direct and unobstructed view of our home planet to the crew members. Now that is a sight to die for, really. Talk all you want about astronauts, spacecraft, and crew accommodations, but space travel will just remain a dream if you forget about spacesuits. So before we finish with our low-orbit space journey, let's briefly talk about the fascinating Axiom spacesuits made for our private astronauts. The Axiom spacesuit, known as the Axiom Extravehicular Mobility Unit, AxEMU spacesuit, is an advanced spacesuit engineered to provide astronauts with high-performing equipment and robust capabilities for space exploration. Built to last generations, these spacesuits aren't just for astronauts, but also for the government, researchers, and individuals who wish to fly privately. Their agile design is capable of meeting the diverse needs of individual astronauts. These spacesuits are also helping NASA with commercially designed human systems. They are built to access and even work on the lunar surface if needed. Well. Is Axiom taking us to the moon once again then? Knowing how Axiom takes notes directly from NASA, you never know. To understand our very own planet in depth, we must explore strange new worlds. With the Axiom Space Station, we will not just dive deep into microgravity, but also broaden our understanding of planetary systems. Deep space travel has the potential to push the envelope of the human body and mind. By analyzing the body's response to long-duration missions in microgravity, we can understand the possibilities of our future as a multi-planetary species. And with Axiom Space, humanity is all set to make a giant leap off the planet. That concludes our cosmic odyssey through the journey of low Earth orbit with the Axiom Space Station right here on the SpaceTech Gazette. If this journey ignited your curiosity, remember to like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell. Your support fuels our mission to bring you the latest news in space technology. And as always, keep gazing at the stars, for the cosmos is a boundless source of wonder. Until our next cosmic rendezvous, stay tuned and keep exploring with the SpaceTech Gazette.